Of course, we all remember when Lauryn Hill was at the height of her fame. Grammy wins, critical acclaim, and the mystification of Lauryn Hill playing everywhere. So how did one of the most iconic artists of her generation seem to disappear from the mainstream almost overnight?
All three members dropped solo albums. Lauryn Hill's album has the most success. But then she stops dropping albums. I mean, she had like the MTV Unplugged album, but she doesn't really drop a real follow-up to this diamond selling album. You know, you guys are still close. Did she tell you why she stopped making albums?
She just felt
Been renewed buzz around Lauryn Hill's career, and once again, some are pointing fingers at seeing Diddy combs. At first, it may sound far-fetched, but when you start connecting the dots, his name does come up repeatedly in conversations about artists who experience rapid rises followed by equally fast declines. Over the years, there have been quiet conversations, claims of artists being shut out of opportunities, deals going south, and promising talent fading from the spotlight. For a number of these stories, Diddy appears as a recurring figure in the background. From Day 26 to Danity Kane and other once rising stars, some fans and insiders question whether Lauryn Hill could be another name on that list. Lauryn's career has always been marked by a commitment to authenticity and a resistance to compromising her artistic and personal values. Could there have been behind-the-scenes tensions? Did her refusal to conform to industry expectations lead to professional fallout? These are questions that have lingered for years. Speculation about what contributed to her stepping back from the spotlight has included her complicated relationship with Wyclef Jean, legal challenges, and her reported connection to a spiritual advisor who allegedly influenced her to withdraw from the public eye. There was also public backlash tied to alleged comments she made early in her career, claims she later addressed and attempted to clarify during an interview with Howard Stern. As for her connection to Diddy, there are a few documented interactions. Lauryn Hill founded the Refugee Project, a non-profit supporting underserved urban youth, and Diddy was listed among those serving on its board of trustees. More recently, both artists were featured at the 2023 Roots Picnic in Philadelphia, where Diddy performed with the Roots and Lauryn celebrated the 25th anniversary of the mystification of Lauryn Hill. Beyond these public appearances, there's limited information linking the two. Still, the idea that Lauryn may have faced deliberate pushback or even blacklisting is a painful one for fans who view her as a visionary artist. Lauryn showed ambition and talent from a young age, famously taking the Apollo stage at just 13 to sing the Jackson 5's Who's Lovin' You. Despite a rocky start and being booed during the performance, she didn't let that moment define her. In high school, she joined the Fugees, founded by Pras Michael and Wyclef Jean, balancing school, music, and early acting roles, including her breakout part in Sister Act 2 alongside Whoopi Goldberg. While the full story behind Lauryn Hill's industry pullback may never be fully known, what remains clear is the impact she had, and continues to have, on music, culture, and generations of artists who followed in her footsteps.
I think that it was probably taken out of context. What I was saying is that I make my music for young black youth because I'm a young black youth myself. And
You are?
message in my songs.
Yes.
And that's for people who look and come from the same areas that I do. That doesn't mean that my music isn't universal.
So you don't mind white people? So you never said I don't want white people to buy my music?
I'm not stupid. You know, I'm a musician, but I like to consider myself a businesswoman.
I mean, your manager's a white guy, right?
Yeah, he is.
Right.
So what was?
Even though Lauryn Hill faced significant pressure at the time, the Fugees still took home 2 Grammys, including Best R&B Performance and Best Rap Album. However, in a surprising move, the group disbanded at the peak of their success. According to Lauryn's former manager, creative differences played a key role in the breakup, with Lauryn herself saying, "I intended to be in the group forever until I found myself in circumstances where I felt the inner desire to express myself freely and openly without any constraint." This led Lauryn to pursue a solo career, and she quickly became a force to be reckoned with. Her debut album, The Mystification of Lauryn Hill, was a massive success, selling over 10 million copies and winning 5 Grammys. What's truly remarkable is that Lauryn Hill was at the absolute peak of her career. Chart-topping hits, sold-out arenas, and a solo debut, still considered one of the greatest albums of all time. She seemed poised to dominate the music scene disappeared. No major follow-up album, few mainstream collaborations, and an industry that seemed to quietly move on without her. It just doesn't add up. How does a cultural icon vanish when she had everything? There were legal battles that may have contributed to her absence. New Arc Entertainment, the production team behind The Miseducation, claimed they weren't properly credited for their work on the album and took Lauryn to court. The case was settled out of court, with Lauryn paying $5 million. Allegedly, this situation left her emotionally scared, and the pressure to follow up on her massive success may have contributed to her pulling back from the spotlight. In a 2009 interview with Essence, Lauryn spoke about the toll fame took on her, saying, "I don't think I ever handled celebrity for a period of time. I had to step away entirely. There were many temptations, enticements, and entrapments. Whether it was the dependence on image or just some false sense of security, I had to step away." Lauryn explained that she realized she was being compromised by the entertainment industry and needed to distance herself for her own well-being. Further discussing her absence from the industry, Lauryn told Rolling Stone in 2021, during an interview for the Amazon Music podcast 500 Greatest Albums, that she never received support from her label to make another album. She said, "The wild thing is no one from my label has ever called me and asked me how can we help you make another album. Ever. She went on to explain that while The Miseducation allowed her the freedom to experiment, the pressure of following up on such a groundbreaking album was overwhelming. She added, after The Miseducation, there were scores of politics, repressed agendas, unrealistic expectations, and saboteurs everywhere. Lauryn also expressed frustration over the gender dynamics in the industry, explaining how men often face less resistance in asserting their creative control. She spoke about how women are treated differently, facing challenges when it comes to expressing their rights and artistic vision. This struggle for creative freedom and independence contributed to her decision to withdraw from the industry. Additionally, Lauryn has been vocal about the issues of sexism in the music business, and she's also spoken out about the IRS and other industry-related challenges that added to her sense of alienation. These combined factors reportedly led to her being marginalized within the industry.
What I've consciously decided to do is be patient and wait for those instructions again, as opposed to the instructions from the record company. You know, I can't, unfortunately, I can't fulfill their needs. You know, I can't, because it's devoid of all feeling. You know what I mean? I have to make sure that what I create, you know, I never want to condescend. There are a lot of people who condescend to the audience. You know, they just think, oh, they'll like anything. Just throw a beat on it and put your voice on it. But if it doesn't move me, then I don't think it's worthy enough to put out there and move someone else. You know what I mean? Like it has to be something that is personally, you know, is something that I need personally. That's my barometer for whether or not it's good for the people.
Like many other artists who fought for their rights, Lauryn was labeled as difficult, often accused of not showing up or being very late, something that, admittedly, she was many times. Despite these challenges, she still expected respect and a full paycheck. Her troubles deepened in 2012 when she was charged with tax evasion for failing to pay $1.8 million in federal taxes. In 2013, she served 3 months in prison for it. By that time, Lauryn's music career had significantly slowed, and her reputation as an unreliable performer, known for arriving late to concerts, certainly didn't help matters. However, if you ask Lauryn, she'll tell you that this is the result of standing up for her musical rights and not conforming to the industry's expectations.
Rights. You know, my concept of successful living is escaping the matrix, as we talked about, you know. It, you know, has very little to do with what people think success is. I actually feel successful right now, even though, you know, I don't have an album out or a video or a song.
Now, don't get me wrong. I understand Lauryn had her own set of struggles. The pressure, the media, the battles with the industry, and even personal challenges and mental health issues are all real. But the streets are talking, and there's growing speculation that Diddy might have played a role in Lauryn's sudden disappearance. Not directly, but through the kind of influence that quietly shuts doors, cuts cuts ties and blacklists someone without ever making a move. Word is, people like MC Lyte have been hinting at this behind the scenes, suggesting that Lauryn didn't just walk away but was pushed by powerful figures who didn't like how loudly she spoke her truth. Okay, maybe it's a bit of a stretch, and maybe we're connecting dots that aren't there, but when you think about it, does it really sound so far-fetched? In an industry built on image, ego, and control, would it be that surprising if someone as powerful as Diddy took issue with what Lauryn stood for and made sure she paid the price? Think about it. Artists don't just vanish at their peak for no reason. When you look at the pattern of who thrives and who fades mysteriously, it does make you wonder. Maybe we need MC Lyte to clarify what she knows. But in the meantime, let me know your thoughts on the possibility of Diddy being involved in Lauryn Hill's disappearance in the comments below.